my ninjas, I am Strident, and today we are taking a look at the Pursuit of Cobra Recondo. Yes, I am jumping back into some of my Joe reviews. I had a huge backlog, waited for a while to get him, forgot about him, and now I'm doing the review. Recondo is one of those figures that I never really thought about him when I was collecting Joes, but I remember really liking what I saw with this figure, and my brother-in-law, he was one of the first Joes that I got my brother-in-law into Joes for a little while, and this was one of the first ones that he picked up, and he was pretty amazed. And I remember being amazed at some of the detail and, you know, the paint and the style of this figure also, and for some reason he just escaped me. So I finally have him in hand, finally have him as part of my collection, and I'm going to take some time out to go over all the things that this figure has, you know, does well, does not do so well, and, you know, just everything. So sit back, relax. You already know how this works. You know what the drill is, and let's get this review started. Now, Recondo has an awesome sculpt. I'm not going to call out all the pieces that go to other characters, but let's just say that a lot of that has been kept to the minimum. I know there are other characters since Pursuit of Cobra that use these parts, and there's one other character in Pursuit of Cobra that has some of these the legs and stuff. But overall, he has a pretty unique look. I love his freaking jacket. That thing is raw. It's one of the few times where, while looking at the character, I spent more time looking at the back than I did looking at the front. That those armor plates that just call back to District 9, I love that stuff, man. It looks really good. I love the way the tomahawks, where they sit. That looks pretty badass. It looks like something we would see in some, you know, fantasy action first-person shooter or something, you know, when they over-design characters, except in this case, it looks fine. It doesn't look like an overdone design. It looks like just par for the course. It doesn't look like it's too much. It doesn't even look understated. It just screams badass. He looks like the guy that you want to be taking into the jungle. You want him to be guiding you into the jungle. He looks like the guy that would go to Jurassic Park and win. Just like with most Pursuit of Cobra figures, every angle has detail. Every angle, every aspect of the figure is full of detail. His gloves, boots, shirt, the jacket, it's just got detail everywhere. The way that you integrate the accessories with, you know, the overall look of the figure works really well. And I'm just talking about what I have on him right now, because you can also put his backpack on and stuff, but everything just works together really well for the benefit of the whole. You know, I always complain about or harp about form following function, and this is one of those examples. And it's crazy because it's from Hasbro, so it's not like it's impossible for them to, you know, do this stuff. I love the Pursuit of Cobra Joe logo on his shoulder. It's way better than that corny gold star that they've been putting on the 50th anniversary figures. The little arrows on his wrist, those look awesome. His hat, I mean, it's the classic Recondo hat. It just is a very awesome marrying of near future tech as far as the armor plating, as far as, you know, the jacket and all, just the armor everywhere, like on his thighs and everything, and the jacket, as well as just that straightforward old-timey jungle explorer aesthetic. And I love it. It doesn't look bad at all. There's nothing about him that looks bad. The face sculpt is awesome. His proportions are awesome. He just works. So yeah, sculpt and paint, they are a win. Alright, let's talk about the accessories. So you see he's got his big old file card. He's got some rifles, mask, tomahawk. He's got a lot of accessories, and one of the cool things about the accessories and such is that they all make sense given the particular theater of war, or I shouldn't even say theater, but the backdrop that this character is supposed to shine in. You know, it's all jungle warfare and stuff. They just did a really good job picking out pieces that they work. They lend themselves to this situation. You can see he will set traps. You can see he likes to conceal himself. You can see he's good at, close quarters combat with those tomahawks. You can see he's a long-range sniper. I purposefully spent a little bit of time on this, so you guys, if you want to, pause it, read everything. Sorry about the glare. But yeah, he has a lot. And, I like when they have a lot of weapons that actually make sense for the character, as opposed to a lot of weapons that make you say, holy shit, there's a lot of weapons in this box, or in this package. But I really like it. It kind of looks like Daniel Craig with a handlebar mustache. It's weird. But that smaller rifle is the Beretta ARX 160. It's got an underbarrel grenade launcher. I think it's an Italian weapon, or it's made by an Italian manufacturer, but it looks good. It's compact. It works for the character. It seems like somebody who's going to be running through forestry and trees and such. It seems like that's something that would work, provided it doesn't it doesn't rust quickly and it doesn't jam up in, with mud and shit like that. Like, how well does it shoot when you come up out of the mud or out of water or something like that? He's got these bear traps, and it's cool because the way that they're put together, as long as you open it, the foot peg piece, or the pad where the foot goes, it sticks up. If you step on it, when it goes down, it forces the jaw shut. So it really pretty much works. It's not spring-loaded, so you won't hurt yourself, but it really can do what you want it to do. And there's another feature with it that I'll show you later, because it works with the backpack. And then the backpack. You can tell it's some kind of a radio with solar panels on it, and it's got other things that you can see detailed all over the place, and it looks good. It looks really good. I was impressed at the thought that goes into this, because it looks like something you would have when you're going on an expedition, The tomahawks, those are my favorites. And I'm going to go into more detail, again, like I said, with all these pieces later, with the exception of the mask, which I'm getting to. But those tomahawks, pretty nice. His hands are a little big, so holding them, you'll have to kind of pinch his hands closed and then put them in there so that he'll hold them better, because the handles of the guns kind of force his hands open. But those are beautiful. This mask, I don't know exactly what it's for. I mean, it looks almost like a tiki mask, but I'm assuming it's something he would wear and then hide in plain sight. You know what I mean? It fits in with the color scheme that he has. They don't really tell you anything about a specific tribe in the area that they're in this particular storyline, so who knows? And I don't know if it was something in the cartoon. I can't remember. So if it is, tell me in the comments, let me know. And then, of course, you have the figure. And, as I said before, excuse me, the figure is a really well-done figure. Everything works really well. Pockets and such on his jacket look really cool. He just, he does what he needs to do. He can hold all the weapons really well. Well, I won't say all of them really well, but he can hold them well. Jeez. His hat is removable. Let's start with that. The hat is removable. I know I've seen a lot of reviews where people were complaining about the hat. You put some blue tack on the inside of the hat, just a little bit, and it'll stick to his head while you're playing with him. Tomahawks. These are the weapons of a badass. He's using 2 of them, which means he really knows what he's doing. If you've played Assassin's Creed, if you've watched martial arts movies from longer than the last 5 minutes, then you've seen movies where people use commas, which are similar to these, freaking hammers, if you've seen The Raid. But you guys have probably seen these weapons with my character, Killstreak. I got this in that box, the set Danger at the Docks. The Cobra Eel came with a footlocker. He had a ton of weapons in there, and this was one of them. I had a tomahawk from something older, I can't remember what it was, that I planned on using for him, but then when I saw this, I was like, that fits much better. So, needless to say, the weapon of a badass. I can picture so many scenarios where he could do some serious damage to Cobra troops using these weapons, The poses and the strikes, he could do dual strikes, singular strikes, hook one guy while you're defending and attacking the other guy, you know, control the space by hooking them and moving them around. It's just, there's so much you could do with this. It's just a win. Bravo for thinking about that. Now the backpack. The backpack is strange because even though it's well sculpted and everything, it does a lot of stuff, and it has a feature that we've seen on several Joe, you know, backpacks in the past. Down you see the red. There's a red button, and below the red button on the side is a black piece that you can pull out. When you pull that piece out, it can you can retract the whole thing too. So the whole point of this is that, you know, they tell you that this is his it's a snare trap. So essentially you would take one of these bear traps and attach the trap to the snare, and then sit and wait and have a Cobra Trooper step on it. It will clamp. You press the red button, and with that button press, it will draw the string back with the clamp or the trap connected to it, and you can catch your prey. So you'd probably set this up somewhere. Now if the string was longer, it'd probably be better, but you know, this is how Hasbro gets down. I'm sure with some time you could open it up and replace the actual line. And if you want to, when you have this thing on his back, you could connect one of the traps to it and just have it hanging, you know, for weapon storage, quote unquote. The solar panels. The solar panels are on ball joints. They're not very wide range of motion. They don't allow for a very wide range of motion. But you can twist them in different ways, and you can kind of tilt them. So depending on what you think works for your sensibilities, you can pose them, but these are probably the 3 ways that you're gonna see them the most, unless you decide to turn them all the way down. They do tend to pop off. I put a little bit of nail polish, clear nail polish on them, on the actual ball joints to kind of tighten up the connection. And they seem to be holding well for me. I haven't had them pop off. As I said earlier, the bear traps do work when you have the interior piece raised up and the jaws all the way open. You could press down on that piece and it will clamp, which is pretty cool because it looks the part. I mean, you can kind of see that on the second bear trap in the background. So yeah, if you want them to be snatching up fools, Cobra Troopers, you know, Shock Troopers, Jungle Troopers, whatever, that's how you do it. Now the sniper rifle. This is an M82 anti-material rifle. They called it a M2J something or other. It's really an M82 anti-material rifle. You've seen this in movies a lot. These things are powerful. What are they, 50 cal, I think? The shells are huge. I worked with a guy who worked for the DEA, and he was in Nevada, and he just brought this shit out one day, like, yeah, dude, I was hitting headshots from 500 yards out. And I'm like, really? We're at a cookout. I'm like, dude, calm down. Anyway, this thing is powerful, and it looks really good, and you would want this fighting Cobra forces in the jungle. We've seen this same gun with, I want to say, the Pursuit of Cobra Snow Job, and I just think it's a good weapon. It looks nice, and it just adds to the skill set of your particular character. He holds it well. You know, he can hold it well with one hand, and you can have him support it with the other one with no problem. I just figured I'd have him lean on something to change it up, because I always have them standing there with their sniper rifles. But all in all, he's got a badass selection of weapons, and it's a little bit different from what we usually see with a lot of the G.I. Joe releases. These weapons make sense given the situation that he is in. Being that he is a specialist, these are weapons that you would probably use in this particular situation, like I said. And I like that they did that. It's form and function coming together the way they should. And I miss that, you know? We don't get that so much these days. Instead, they just give us a shitload of weapons to wow us. Now, who would be his match? This is a section that I'm going to start doing when I do Joe reviews. I was looking at some of my old ones from when I first started, and I'm going to redo those, and I'm going to add this in here so that we can talk about characters that would oppose each other in the situation, you know, specialties, Cobra's version of this character, or a character who has a similar specialty, or a specialty kind of created to counter the particular Joe in question. Now, Recondo is a master of survival and traversing the jungles and probably forestry, you know, just he's kind of like Outback, but I want to say his specialty is the jungle. So, who would he be fighting? Obviously, any Cobra that has jungle in his name. You know what I mean? It's real simple. But there's a couple in Pursuit of Cobra because they made this a part of the story. So, I think the Jungle Bat is a given because Jungle Bats would be accompanying whoever of the high-ranking Cobra Command members would be in the jungle. You know that Cobra Island has a jungle. You know that the Cobra headquarters is, I think, on the other side of a jungle. So if you were going to go there, you're going to need a bunch of them. I'm sorry, if you were going to fight them, go there and attack Cobra Commander, you would have to deal with a bunch of these guys in the jungle. And plus, I mean, come on, with his badass fighting style, as you can imagine, with those two tomahawks and, you know, all that stuff, it would just be awesome to see him go through a bunch of freaking bats. Now, the number one guy he would probably be fighting is the Jungle Viper. These guys, they're super equipped. I mean, their sniper rifle blows his sniper rifle out of the water. I mean, if his is a 50 cal, theirs is a 100 caliber gun. It's fucking, you know, it's like a rail gun. That's what it looks like to me. I know it's really a tank buster. So if you got hit with that, you're done. There's nothing more. So I think he would be the perfect, you know, foil for Recondo. Now for problems and nitpicks. So this figure looks awesome. You've heard me say all these good things about him. Singing the praises because he is a Pursuit of Cobra figure, and I think this is the pinnacle. This line was the pinnacle of, you know, G.I. Joe engineering, concept, and execution in many cases, but there are some figures that, you know, they didn't hit that high bar, and he's one of them. And it's only because of little things. The first one, I don't know if this is a QC issue that everyone dealt with, but people warned me that there were QC issues. His the way he's packaged, he's forcing the flap open in the package, and I doubt this is something everyone dealt with, but enough people dealt with it to complain about. For me, this is one of the only issues that I have, and I think if I boil it, or, you know, put in some hot water or get the hair dryer and some cold water, I might be able to repair this. But yeah, that's the first big thing I noticed, because when I was trying to snap the tomahawks in, I kept running into issues because of that. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what we can do with that. Then the next thing is his neck. For whatever reason, this body is sculpted with the neck looking down. No matter what you do, he is going to look down. Even when you try to tilt the head up, there's not much room, not much tilt. There's not a hinge in the neck. So when he looks up, it's only barely forward, but his neck is still jutting out, making his head face down. I tried all kinds of things to see if I could switch it, if I could fix it, if I could, you know, somehow modify it, and without cutting off the neck, drilling a hole, putting in a Figma joint or a Revoltech joint, this is how it's going to be. He's got a thick-ass neck and can't look up. No matter what you do, he's going to look down. For some people, this was a game breaker. But, I mean, different people, I guess, build up your military. So if you're going to have G.I. Joes, you got to have different body types, different limitations. Some people, you know, will have different ranges of motion due to different injuries and such. Sometimes this stuff adds character to your characters. Sometimes, though, it's annoying because you want all your figures to be able to look up. When you use the diaphragm joint, you can get them to look up. But even looking down, I mean, looking at him head on, you can tell that he's looking down because his chin is all tucked in. So I don't know. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they wouldn't have figured out a way to remedy that before, you know, the thing hits mass retail. But that's what we got. And for me, that's a problem and a nitpick all in one. He's constantly staring down, and there's nothing else you could do about it. But it's not something impossible to deal with because a lot of Joes don't have a lot of neck movement. You'll be seeing that in a lot of reviews because I'm not going to spend a lot of time on articulation. But anyway, that brings me to the bottom line. The POC Recondo is a badass character. He looks good doing a lot of things that your Joes are supposed to do. He looks even better, obviously, when you have him in the proper backdrop. I didn't feel like going out. It's hot as hell outside these days, so I'm indoors in the AC, relaxing. If you to get him outside, covered in grass and dirt and stuff, it's gonna look good. He's properly colored. He doesn't have anything outlandish going on. Best of all, and this is my favorite thing, is he looks like a Joe. Like he looks like he fits with the rest of the Joes, even though all these Joes have different design elements and different, how do you put it? Different aesthetics. They have enough in common that you can have him stand side by side with Duke, any version. You can have him stand side by side with Beachhead, any version just about. And as long as he's not wearing like neon or something, And they look like they're part of the same outfit. And my favorite Beachhead is this one right here. So if you can stand next to that guy and look official, then that's a win. And Recondo definitely can do that, And you can mix them up too, because a lot of my team, I mix it up. Sometimes I don't feel like using the POC Snake Eyes. Sometimes I feel like using the Resolute Roadblock, My favorite Scarlet is the one from Resolute. So, that's kind of the aesthetic that you kind of want in your team. You want fairly modern looking characters. I mean, if that's your thing. Some people like the classic characters. For me, it's all about the modern look. And, I really dig how he fits both, he fits both aesthetics. He's got the details, what's the word? Aesthetic integrity of the original design. Jesus, I don't know why that took me so long to get to. But he has the aesthetic integrity of the original design while standing out as a modern design with a twist. He's got a twist on the original design, and that's awesome. This is pretty much all you can ask for. This guy ran me $27. I think that was with shipping, or maybe it was like with $2 shipping or something like that. But he usually goes for like the high 30s, $50. I'm like, I don't know about that shit. And this is why I tell you guys to search around. But I never saw him less than 25, 27 bucks, something like that. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. This has been my review of the Pursuit of Cobra Recondo. He is an awesome figure. If you see him, get him. Don't be greedy. Let other people get some too. Show your friends. Let them know about this figure if they're Joe collectors as well. And yeah, that's it for me. You guys have been great. I will be back with a whole bunch more reviews, mostly G.I. Joe reviews, and I will catch you on the next video. Peace outside.